Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. We're back after a long hiatus. This is our second episode, trying to cover community events. My grandmother told me she didn't know what was going on in town and wanted a bunch of people to come out and talk to where she's at and kind of bring her up to speed. And I said, that feels like a TV show that we used to do. And so I said, well, I guess I better do that. And so here I am. And I'm sure those of you that have been tuning in for a long time are used to two different faces or three different faces, but you'll be seeing mine periodically, and we're gonna bring you up to speed on some community events and announcements and it's just some really neat stuff that's going on in town. I've got with me tonight, or whenever you're watching this, I've got Mr. Ted Leahey, known quantity in Union City, former teacher here at Union City Junior Senior High School, and I had the privilege of having him as my student council representative for a couple years before he ran away from us. And so I know he's got a couple announcements, so I want to introduce him first, but I'm going to go over some community events real quick here and try not to butcher them as bad as I did last time. On the 5th of June, at 4 p.m. is the Who's Your Daddy 100 race at the Winchester Speedway. On the 11th at 8 p.m., the Flying Toasters will be performing a free concert series at Goodrich Park in Winchester. On the 12th at 9 a.m., the Union City Farmers Market will be downtown in Union City. Also on the 12th, at 7 p.m., the Junior Davis and the Funkyard Dogs will have another free concert at Artisan Park in Union City. From 8 to 11 on the 12th as well, the Phi Delta Kappa Beta Eta chapter breakfast at Phi Delta Kappa on Residence Street in Winchester will be having their chapter breakfast. On the 25th at 8 p.m., the Sean Lamb Band will be performing a free concert at Goodrich Park. On the 26th at 7 p.m., Ladder will be performing a free concert at Artisan Park in Union City. And then every Saturday in June from 9 to 1, the Winchester Farmers Market will be on Meridian Street on the square in downtown Winchester. The Randolph County United Chamber Division will hold their first annual membership gala on the south lawn of the courthouse at the Bicentennial Plaza on Saturday, June 26th, beginning at 6:30. Live music, dinner, and awards will highlight the evening. On June 12th is the 7th annual fly-in breakfast at the Randolph County Airport. We missed last year for obvious reasons, and so we're coming back. The Union City Lions Club will be providing breakfast at the event. There'll be just an incredible amount of raffle items. There'll be airplane rides. It's just a really neat event to go out and see, bring your kids, and if you like planes and stuff like that, it's a really neat time. And then the Randolph County United Chamber will be doing the Winchester Square umbrella display again this year. The plan is to hang the umbrellas around the Bicentennial Plaza. If you're interested, you can go to the chamber office and pick up umbrellas. They can be picked up during regular business hours to be decorated. They need returned by June 18th, and they'll be displayed all over the plaza over July 4th. That's all I have. Ted, I know you've got at least one thing.
Sure, I'd like to talk about that. Over Memorial Day weekend, we're going to put together a dedication of the Military Tribute Park. Originally, that was scheduled for last year, Veterans Day, but what happened was the COVID interfered with a lot of the activities that we had planned for that, so everything was put on hold, including much of the work that would have been done at that time. So the idea for this Military Tribute Park resulted from Chad Spence, whom you had on recently for one of the
Sure.
Cable Chatters, wanted to have something that extended Artisan Crossing over to the depot area. And once that three-story apartment building had been torn down, that vacated that lot immediately next to the American Legion building. So I have had good success with writing some grants through the Community Foundation, and the cycle was coming up for this last year. And so I worked with Chad a little bit in terms of some ideas, and I contacted Pamela Bliss, probably one of the best known muralists who's done many murals throughout Indiana and throughout the country. But and she's done murals for us here in Union City.
I was wondering, Andy, we had some other murals in different places, and I didn't know if she was kind of a known quantity here in Union City.
She has become that, and the great thing, which I still am in amazement about, is that she does not charge excessively for us at all. I mean, she could be asking any price she wanted to. So I did write the grant. The grant was accepted, and I wanted to build on the idea of a military tribute. So it's very appropriate that that open space is right next to the American Legion building. So what started as one idea expanded into 2 or 3 ideas of what we should do to develop that area, and it will be a work in progress. But the first phase of that is the mural, and I thought the general public would be interested in how that was done. So Pamela Bliss, the muralist, and her daughter Carly painted individual panels. There are 8 panels that make up the mural that you will see that is attached to the end of the American Legion building.
So what other murals did she do for us?
Well, she did the one on the Ohio side of the Lambert.
Okay.
The history of the Lambert Company. That was, and the cars that she put on the building next door, the Model Ts and Model As. And so that we had an association with her because she had done the McCoy mural that's on the fire station.
Okay.
And she's worked on other projects for us as well.
So is this one of, I mean, this one's in panels, and the McCoy one was also
Yes.
in panels, and so
Yes.
I was curious if this was one of her first panel style projects, or
She has primarily done her work on a solid surface.
Okay.
But because we had to attach these murals to a corrugated surface, it can be painted, but it's a much more intricate process. So we agreed to do them as panels. The McCoy is the first one that we did, and when you drive by, you're not aware that it is made up of individual panels. So this one, as I say, there are 8 different panels that were painted one at a time, not connected. It came from a rough idea that I gave them for what the mural could be. And then she worked from a preliminary sketch of she asked what I thought the military tribute mural should look like. So when you see it, if you take a little time to look at it, there is kind of a message that is in the mural itself. So the fact that our military is on land and sea and air, we try to incorporate that particular sense when you look at the mural, and also because wars are contemporary as well as long past. So on the immediate foreground, we have an exploding Humvee because that represents what we are involved in and have been on this long Mideastern conflict.
Sure.
And so along with that, as part of the grant that I requested, was for a statue of a soldier. And Joshua Shepard, who now from our own community has established his own reputation as a well-known artist, had a particular statue that had been commissioned that is distributed for him from a company in South Dakota. And so it fit the concept of what we wanted to do with the initial phase of this military tribute park. So I wrote that into the grant request also. So the statue represents a soldier that would have escaped from the bombing of the Humvee. Very contemporary, but it doesn't identify any particular period of time in terms of that, because I had related to you earlier, just as an anecdote, my mother's brother, Frank, was injured in World War II with his buddy. They were at the Battle of the Bulge. Uncle Frank was deafened by the explosion and bombings, and his buddy was blinded. And so Uncle Frank carried the soldier his buddy on his back to his company. And I thought that idea represents the engagement of soldiers in military, no matter what the conflict is, no matter what the situation, no matter what division of the military they may be affiliated with, whether it's on land, on sea, or in the air. So in the upper part, you see the planes, and there's a bomber from representing World War II, a ship in the ocean as representing the Navy, and we have a contemporary image of the planes now in the far corner, and at the very top, very faintly represented, because it's just beginning, is the new division for space.
Okay.
So there's a very small trajectory in the upper part of the mural. So that she added that after she had already painted the mural, because we thought that needs to be as part of this story.
And there's a lot to unpack here, because this is really neat. And having been kind of walking with some of the other gentlemen here at the school in the mornings and kind of looking around town and stuff, and getting a chance to slowly walk through, which normally you're driving so you don't see as much, and so get a chance to walk by Military Tribute Park as it was kind of coming together, and so seeing the panels go up and some of the photos that we have, just the ability to put those in together and paint them individually.
Exactly. And
then get them to line up as well as they do. And then did she have to do more after they were up on the wall?
Yes, as a matter of fact, so some of the finish work she did after they were attached to the end of the American Legion building. And I didn't mention, and I do want to mention that the American Legion painted that end of the building specifically for this mural and for the tribute park, representing the colors of the American Legion. And then they are contributing to that, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But there is a photo of Pamela. I didn't bring one of those because she didn't send it to me, but she is in the boom herself. That's how she did the matching of panel to panel to panel. She painted after it was all set up on the wall. Yeah,
I'm sure there's something to painting, which I'm not having tried very poorly at one point. There's something to that's very impressive. Then you add, we're going to do this large scale mural with connected different panels, and then I'm not going to be standing on the ground. No. I'm going to be in a boom truck doing the finish work. That is really something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating when you know that little bit of, because you don't get that sense of it at all when you're just looking at the mural as the finished product. The other thing is, other people have come on board that this was a starting point, all right, the statue and the mural. But then we have also, Greg Hufford is doing bricks, which you can have made to represent your family or relatives or friends that were involved in the military. And I know there's a discussion going on right now with the possibility of another statue that a donor would like to establish in that park also. So we feel like this can be a living, developing tribute park. So I think it's going to grow in size and dimension. And we want it to be a place of reflection for people that just want to go there and get a sense of, this is what my father went through, this is what my brother went through, this is what my sister, my cousin, my aunts maybe went through. And these bricks are going to be establishing a walkway, a tribute walkway, that they will all be placed. They'll carry the emblem of that particular division of the military. And the American Legion on the other half of their building, so that will be north of the mural and the statue, they are putting up flags that will represent each division of the military, and the round seals that are their emblems that will also appear on the bricks. So those things are not going to be all done at the time we do a dedication, because, as I say, this military park is going to emerge and grow. And we are going to go ahead and dedicate it because we want people to be aware of it and to see how it's beginning and how it will end up. So that's going to be on the Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to be on Saturday the 29th It'll be at 2 o'clock. There will be a brief ceremony and music played, and the American Legion will be involved also with a traditional ceremony as part of the dedication of that military tribute park. And then if anybody is interested in a brick, these forms are going to be available at the city building. And so you can stop in at Union City Building and pick them up. And it's not exclusive to Union City at all, but we certainly want an opportunity for anybody from our area, whatever that distance may be, to have a brick there if that's what the families would like to see. And the main thing that I want to emphasize with that, if you are thinking about it from hearing me talk about this, you do need to have the discharge papers to verify that the person was actually in the service and was honorably discharged in order to have a brick made for that particular soldier or military person. So that's one thing to take into consideration.
Yeah, because I know when Chad was here, I mean, this was filming-wise, this was just a couple of days ago, and we were looking out for future events, and he mentioned that the city was going to be dedicating this, or this was going to be dedicated coming up Memorial Day. I was like, well, I need to get Ted in here to talk about it, because we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
You brought stuff in, and we've talked about the different grant processes and things of that, which I know you love grants. They're your favorite thing.
I do.
But you've done some excellent work for Union City in tons and tons of different ways. So this is just another shining example. But yeah, I definitely wanted to get you guys in here to talk about this. And it's as things kind of come together, it's a fluid piece.
Right.
Because I know we wanted to get it dedicated, get it out there, get it announced, but there's going to be pieces that aren't fully completed at this point.
Well, and just a quick comment that fits there. There will be a sidewalk that is on the perimeter. There will be tree boxes like they are in Artisan Crossing. But we've run into a lot of things that haven't gone back to work in the way that they normally would have. So there's a backlog of cement work that has to be done. There's a backlog in terms of also establishing the tree boxes that'll be on each corner. Those things are just going to keep showing up. And so that's why I say at this stage it's a living project.
And I think that's really neat as well. I mean, we're going to dedicate it. It's here. It's going to stay here. But it's also going to kind of keep growing, developing, and it may keep a lookout for future changes. I did want to kind of go back to you were talking about the statue, and so is this statue like something that he made that is being produced, and so you can, probably just pick up the phone and order it, but
it as I understand it, that this company has purchased that statue to be reproduced, and I don't know to what extent it has been, and in fact Joshua would better be able to answer that question than I am, but I ordered the statue from the company that he recommended that was already available. So I'm assuming that, but I do want to go back since you mentioned the statue. This is amazing. When you see it standing there on its pedestal, that came on the back of a pickup truck from South Dakota. And it was strapped in with the nylon cords that you use to tie a refrigerator to the back of your truck. That was actually how that arrived. We had to use a front loader to hook into those straps and lift it off and get it into the fire station where it's been stored since that arrived. It was an ordeal.
I'm sure.
But I mean, we were all like, don't let it drop, don't hit the wall, don't. But it got there, and that was just absolutely amazing to me that statue made that distance trip and nothing happened.
That is amazing, and that says that. I imagine they've done it before that way. I would guess
they do. They deliver them that way. So, and there were others that apparently were on the truck because he came from South Dakota to a show that was going on in Richmond for statuary for outdoor purposes.
So, I mean, who knows? If you were headed down the interstate around that time, you saw a truck coming with a bunch of statues.
Yes.
You may have saw it coming to town. That's interesting. Now, is Josh or Joshua, is he from around
Yeah,
this
Joshua
here?
is from Union City.
I'm not familiar with
the Shepherd
name.
boys went to school here, and I don't remember if Joshua did, because that was after I left Union City, or
Okay.
would have been. But I had both of his other brothers, his older brothers, in school.
That's another neat connection to have local artists.
Yeah, we have local and international recognition artists, but Joshua's work is that caliber also. In fact, the fireman that you see there by the McCoy mural is also his work.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So I think in a lot of ways we've kind of covered all the way around and about. And did this idea come about before that apartment structure was down? Because that'd been there for a long time.
No, actually, there was another intention for that space under the previous administration, but it didn't happen again. A lot of things got put on hold because of COVID.
Sure.
And so when we changed leadership, then, as I say, Chad said, I'd like to see something done there that extends Artisan Crossing and links that whole area from the depot all the way through to where our murals are on the back of the buildings that you see when you're in Artisan Crossing. So.
And that absolutely brings that together, helps kind of connect the two pieces, not just there's a street and you kind of have to make a jog and there's the depot
Right.
and stuff. I think that really brings that together. And I'm sure the American Legion was very excited about this opportunity.
Yes, I mean because it recognizes that building as well in their efforts. So yeah, we've come together in fun, interesting ways for this particular project. It grew immediately without even having to do anything to make that happen.
And it seems like this reoccurring theme that I hear and have, being a resident, have lived, is that spark that creates collaboration in Union City, that people pull together for the best of the community and try to do things that are just really unique and really neat.
Yeah.
And so it's a pleasure for me to be a part of it, and it's just really neat to see. And so I wanted to get you up here to kind of
Great.
reveal what was going on behind the curtain, how we've got to this place. Ted, again, I want to thank you for coming on, and thank you again for all your work in Union City. And it's always a pleasure.
And I appreciate the interest that the school has always had in the community, and that's why it ticks.
Absolutely, and we just really value that strong relationship. So. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cable Chatter. This is Ted Leahey. We're talking about Military Tribute Park. If you missed the last episode with Chad Spence, we were talking about the movement of the railway tower, and that's an interesting episode as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.